Martial World Teyvat Chapter 7 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. I had set the date of the expedition for a week into the future, and I spent that time doing three things. I first filled out Keqing's order for weapons and ammo as was per the contract we swore upon. Secondly, I went to the library and studied what the hell the world was like, and dear to all the gods, this world was completely fucked. Basically, this world of Teyvat was normal until the Archon War. During this version of the Archon War, instead of the gods and supernatural races fighting against one another, all the regions and the many gods including Khanreiah came together in secret, and after an insane amount of losses, they managed to kill the divine entities within Celestia and thus break the heavens. And with the broken heaven and earth, and with the ley lines utterly ruined and twisted beyond recognition, the countless dead supernatural beings, humans, and even gods filled the world with so much spiritual energy that couldn't be recycled by the broken ley lines that the entire world of Teyvat itself changed to produce its own spiritual energy, along with actively absorbing astral and abyssal spiritual energy from beyond Teyvat as well. The twisted harsh astral and abyssal spiritual energies corrupted the natural spiritual energies in Teyvat to naturally form monsters and other things as well as a consequence. Along with learning about the history of this Teyvat, I also looked into snagging some kind of martial arts manuals and learning of the power scales for martial arts, as apparently my spiritual roots were trash for absorption of spiritual energy but had some weird effect of increasing the output of any energy I had. No idea what that meant, but either way I managed to collect 3 martial arts for a decent price from a bookstore. Jade Body, Cloud Steps, and Rakshasa Palms. I muttered as I messed with the little stack of 3 manuals. I chose the 3 books beyond their relative cheapness for their auxiliary effects when trained to a decent level. Jade Body can help clean the body of toxins, which will help when I am dealing with toxic materials or heavy metals. Cloud Steps can make clouds out of ki later on, which lowers the weight of things around me. And the Rakshasa Palms is good for both semi-armored and non-armored targets. I muttered as I read through them. I did those 2 things the last week I had after my meeting with Keqing. But the last thing I did was something very important. I had worked very hard to make a rugged truck that would be powered by the hydrogen and oxygen energy I had within, that would boil water to filter out the hydrogen and water and then would ignite the pure hydrogen and oxygen in alternating engines to push the pistons. Then, to add even more horsepower to the large truck, I had a whole secondary engine in the front of the truck that was electric, that would run the front tires so the 16-wheel drive would have the most power possible so it could go through the steep hills and mountains of Liyue. Beyond just the truck's carrying pulling capacity, which was more than enough to bring the machines, I needed into the mountainside so I could begin my operation to break this world over my knees. I took Keqing and my own experiences with the insane number of monsters around in mind as I made the old-style gating guns that could be winded up to fire like a minigun. I came more than prepared. I came with explosives, several thousands of rounds. And of course, for the crowning achievement, I made an RPG with the required munitions, even though the cost was a lot higher than simple bullets. An ear-popping roar rang out in the garage I was in as a wide smile crossed my face as I pushed the accelerator to get the truck warmed up further, and with a creaking noise the truck pulled the large trailer behind it, and I began to ever so carefully drive my truck through the streets of Liyue's thankfully super large business district streets and to the exit where Keqing was supposed to be waiting. I couldn't help the wry smile as I saw several guards running over to me, and seeing the large truck and me within it slowly driving past the horse or chi-driven carriages, I wondered if they thought this was some kind of monster or cultivator magic tool. But either way, I got to the exit, and with a flicker of lightning Keqing seemingly flash stepped onto the truck's front dash, and she stared at me with some amusement in her eyes. "What in the world is this?" she asked, raising an eyebrow in curiosity as she continued. "I doubt this will work all that well, as even cultivator carriages drawn by demon beasts have issues going through the mountain while carrying a full load," she said, but I grinned. I had a secret for that as well. I had also used powerful magnets on the bottom and sides of the trailer so the heavy mechanical equipment would literally weigh a lot less and held in place by the hyper-powerful magnets. It was amazing what a person could do when you weren't constrained to just using fossil fuels as fuel. However, the magnets would need to be recharged by the time I moved the machines from the trailer due to the high power and strain going through them. Either way, I smiled and answered Keqing. "It's my ride into the mountains. Can your men keep up?" I asked, seeing the men mounted on horses, and Keqing snorted but looked at the truck with some interest before looking away to one of her lieutenants. "Chensi, you guide my horse while I ride with the client." She called out and the older soldier saluted with a fist to their heart and made their horse go over towards Keqing's horse. One that I had no doubt was a demon beast, as every step it took had sparks shooting off it, especially between its hoof and the ground. Could I hook up a battery to the horse, or use an electrically conductive pad track to collect the lightning it's outputting with each step? I wondered before my lips twitched as Keqing coughed loudly and gave me a joking gimlet glare as she slid onto the other end of my heavily padded bench seat that was acting as both a seat and backup bed for the truck if I got stuck anywhere. Don't even think about it. I literally had to kill people for that horse, she said, making me nervously laugh as I knew she wasn't fucking joking at all. Alright then, I said cheerily while shaking my head. Let's get going then, I said, and pulled the lever to put the truck into motion, and with a loud roar of the engine systems going, the truck moved at a good pace out of the gates of Liyue, and for the first time in like a week and a half since I arrived in Teyvat, I was out of the walls and relative safety of Liyue.